how cells transport materials, I can identify examples of passive and active transport. Please remember to pause, rewind, go back as you need to in this video, and to take notes as you go. First, is this example osmosis or diffusion? The student sitting next to you just came from gym class and forgot to shower, and you notice. Diffusion. So the student who just came from gym class and forgot to shower is probably a little stinky, and that's why you notice, has a high concentration of odor molecules on this student, and they are slowly going to diffuse out to you, which is why you smell them. One way to get rid of slugs in your garden is to sprinkle salt on them so they shrivel up. Good, osmosis. So salt is going to suck the water molecules out of the slug's cells, causing that slug to shrivel up. Again, those water molecules are going to move from high concentration in that slug to a lower concentration outside the slug where the salt is until it reaches an equilibrium. Oxygen molecules move from the air sacs in the lungs across the cell membrane into the blood. Diffusion, good. So again, no water is moving here, so it cannot be osmosis. And again, in diffusion, no energy is required, moves with the concentration gradient from areas of high concentration to low concentration. You're stranded in the desert and see an oasis. It's your only source of water to drink. Upon further inspection, you discover it has a high concentration of salt. Do you drink it? Why or why not? Describe the process of osmosis in your answer. No, don't drink it. It will just dehydrate you and your cells more. When your cells are dehydrated, as happens in the hot sun, your cells need water more than salt. After drinking the salt water, your blood has a high salt concentration. Because there is more water in the cells than in your blood, water will move out of your cells and into the bloodstream, moving from areas of high concentration to low concentration, in an attempt to balance the concentration of salt on both sides of the cell membrane. Osmosis or diffusion, yum! Something smells good. The neighbors are cooking on the grill. Diffusion, all that yummy food has a high concentration right next to the grill, and it's going to diffuse out to you. You're going to want to go eat it. Rizzo sprays water on the veggies in the produce section to plump them up. Osmosis. Again, anytime we talk about water, we are talking about osmosis. You love fruit in a can. When you open up that can of peaches, you notice that they look and feel just like they were freshly picked. Why do you think they stayed that way? Describe the process of osmosis in your answer. So let's think about a peach. What's on the inside? Sugar. That's why they're so delicious. And what do they package the peaches in? Sugar water. The sugar and the water are balanced on both the inside and the outside of the peach, making the peach maintain its shape and texture as it was just freshly picked. Osmosis or diffusion. The girl sitting 2 rows ahead of you put on too much perfume this morning. Diffusion. So if she put on too much perfume, she's going to have a high concentration of those perfume molecules, and they are going to move from areas of high concentration to low concentration without the use of energy with the concentration gradient, and that is why you are going to smell them. Gargling with salt water when you have a sore throat causes your swollen throat cells to shrink and feel better. Osmosis. So that salt water has a lower concentration of water than the cells. So your cells are going to take the water out of them, move it across that cell membrane to where you are gargling with the salt. Again, moving from areas of high concentration in your cell to low concentration outside of your cell. Try to reach that equilibrium, and in turn, your cells will shrink in size, reducing the swelling. You put raisins in a glass of water and they plump up. Osmosis. Again, anytime we have water, cue for you, osmosis, moving from high concentration outside of the raisin to a low concentration inside of the raisin. With the concentration gradient, no energy required. You've been soaking in the tub to try and relax after a hard day of standardized testing at school. Getting out of the tub, you notice that your fingertips and toes are just like little raisins. Have you aged 60 years? No, that's just osmosis in action. Your fingers and toes have actually absorbed the bath water, causing the tips of your toes and fingers to form wrinkly folds. Again, osmosis, moving of water molecules from high concentration in the bathtub to lower concentration inside your cells. This picture, so part 1 is here, part 2 is here. Is it showing osmosis or diffusion? Good, so there's nothing here to indicate that these particles are water. So if you said diffusion, I would agree with you. And again, we have a high concentration of particles inside the box, and they are moving out of the box to low concentration. Osmosis or diffusion? Good, osmosis. So when we look at this picture here, the black dots are water molecules, the blue dots are labeled as salt molecules, and actually here's the answer right here. As we look, we have our water molecules where there are many on the left side, fewer on the right side, moving across our semi-permeable dotted membrane here, until they reach an equilibrium. Does this picture represent passive or active transport, and why? Good, active transport, because you see our ATP energy that the cell needs to use in order to move these blue dot molecules from areas of low concentration inside the cell, with this arrow showing us that, to areas of high concentration. So it's moving against the concentration gradient, right? And thus needs energy to help facilitate this movement. And here is our phospholipid bilayer. Passive or active transport? Good, active transport. So here, this is an example of endocytosis, where we see the cell membrane, which is labeled here, actually engulfing all of these particles to bring them physically into the cell in their vesicle.